Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coming Out Cosmic podcast. My name is Christine Nowinski, ET contactee and channel and founder of Coming Out Cosmic, registered trademark. Okay. Guys, I have the little R symbol next to Coming Out Cosmic now. How freaking exciting is that? I don't think I've officially announced any of this on social media yet because I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do like a cool reel about it, but guys, I just have not had any time. So basically what this means is nobody can steal my shit or my name because let me tell you something very fast before I get into the podcast. I actually did not want to start posting on Facebook at all because I hate Facebook. I'm so sorry for all of those people who may have found me on Facebook. I'm very grateful for you. And the only reason I started posting on Facebook is because somebody stole all of my really high performing videos off of TikTok, created an account on Facebook, and they literally blew up the page within like 2 weeks up to, I think, over 2,000 followers on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure they were about to get monetized on my content. And so obviously this is illegal. This is an infringement of copyright law. I don't know if I legally said that right, but I think you get my point. Nobody can truly steal your likeness and your original and authentic content. However, if somebody does steal this content or your identity in this way, if you already have a registered trademark that is protecting you, then the process of getting that fake shit taken down is way quicker because you went through the full registration process, which can take a couple of years. And you basically have the government, the US government at least, because that's where my stuff is trademarked. You've got the US government behind your back. So for anybody who's thinking about trademarking their company, I highly, highly recommend it, especially if you have a really cool name that you want to make sure that nobody takes. I would also recommend securing all of that name on all social media accounts, an email, and a website. Because even if you don't intend to use any of that stuff right now, if you secure the domain, the email, like hello at whatever the name is.com, or if you want a Gmail account with your business name, and you secure all the social media accounts, I'm telling you, it's going to save you so much frustration in the future. When Coming Out Cosmic was born, one of the very first things that I did was trademark the company. And how I did that was I went through LegalZoom because I don't know how to trademark anything. And I was like, I'm just going to do this the lazy girl way, which, you know, ends up being expensive. But I'm like, at least this is being done right. And I don't have to pay a ton of money if I ended up making some sort of mistake in the trademark process, because it is a very, very long process. But I'm very excited to announce that I'm officially a registered trademark in 3 different classes. So you have to also choose the categories in which you want the trademark. If you've been thinking about this, then do it. This is your sign. It is worth it. It is one of the best things I've ever done for my business because I know that I am protected. So anyway, I'm sorry that I went on that little tangent, but I've just been holding in this surprise for you guys. I really haven't told anybody except for my school community that I'm officially registered. Let's move on to today's podcast episode. So in today's episode, I am going to be sharing with you another inside edition of a one-on-one session. And I also want to note that my one-on-one sessions are currently open. I had them on pause for a little bit as I was gathering my mentorship together. And now that that's all put together and we are doing it, I'm like, okay, I can take on one-on-one sessions now. So I am now booking one-on-one sessions in October 2026. I'm not sure what year it is that you're listening to this podcast. I will put the link to book in the show notes. I very intentionally only take a couple of one-on-ones a month at this point. I used to do at least 4 to 5 a week. Now I'm at only about 6 a month. This is one of the ways in which I preserve my energy. And also, I just want to focus on other projects too. I love working in groups because I think collectively we're so strong, but I love, love, love my one-on-one sessions as well. This is why I love sharing them with you guys because there's so many insights that come through. I work with the sweetest people. I'm getting the chills as I say this right now. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I think it's just validation from my higher self that these one-on-one sessions are channeled through accurately, and there's a lot of different insights that I think could help you, especially in this episode. Another quick side note for any announcements that I have, just like the registered trademark or that my one-on-ones are now open and available, I always post to my free school community first. The platform is called School, Skool. There's a free membership tier and a paid membership tier. So check out the show notes for more information about that. And if you want to be the first to know about upcoming launches and openings and availability. In this one-on-one session, I meet with one of the sweetest people I've ever met before. He's genuinely got like dad or like grandfather like protection energy with him, and he's just like super duper cool and really open. I really do love working with clients who are, well, let me put it this way. I work with clients all across the board. Like, I don't think the awakening has any sort of age restriction, but I do think that a lot of people from the older generations have a much harder time going through their awakening because it could be harder for them to break through all of the programming that they endured during their lifetime. They've had many, many years of acclimating to a certain type of reality, and it can be really hard to escape that type of reality. And so there can be people who are more ignorant of the awakening. And when I say awakening, I mean just expanded consciousness, just opening up your mind to aliens, for example. And so I really do love when I'm working with older clients because it gives me a lot of hope to know that one day potentially my mom will be open to this stuff, or my uncle, or somebody who has lived in, I think, Generation X. Is that what it's called? Like Generation X, for example, when I'm talking about my family, they've gone through those years and they can still be open to this kind of stuff. They're not programmed. They're breaking out of it. So of course, my client gave me full permission to release this episode. This one-on-one session was filmed months ago. It might be an interesting one for you to listen to because you can actually really hear and note the differences in my channeling style, confidence, and abilities. Remember, channeling is something that needs to be practiced. It's like a psychic ability on steroids. Any psychic ability needs to be practiced. Unless you're just born with it, then you have to learn how to integrate it. So there's a lot of different phases in developing psychic abilities and developing channeling. You will notice in this episode, because it's a couple months ago, one of the things that I was working on at the time was ahs and ums. I still say them during channeling sessions, but not as often, which is great because I don't know if you guys know what Toastmasters is. It's an international public speaking club, and I did that for 5 years. I'm such a nerd. We used to have an ah and an counter. So you would do these professional speeches and it would help you with public speaking. The ah and counter would actually count your ahs and ums because it is such a normal thing that we don't even realize that we're doing. And so when I listen back to these sessions and I'm like, oh my God, I'm saying all these ahs and ums, it actually takes me back to Toastmasters and how that version of me would not be very pleased with myself. And I think now that I'm not saying as many ahs and ums, it's just meaning that the messaging is flowing through more easily. There's less pause. There's less time for my mental analytical mind to come in and botch the channeling because no matter what, I'm still in full control of the channeling. I'm receiving the information telepathically and I'm understanding it before I'm even saying it out of my mouth. So in that split second when I'm receiving that fast information and I'm about to release it out of my mouth, there can be time in which I doubt the information. And that could be a reason for some of the ahs and ums. Another reason for the ahs and ums would be that the entity is trying to go through my brain and find a word that they want to use, because when you're channeling, they use information in your brain. They try to explain things as best as they can, but if I haven't been exposed to something, sometimes it can be very hard to channel it. So they pick a lot of words and stuff that I would be comfortable saying, or they choose vocabulary that's literally already in my brain. Even if it's been filed away and I haven't used a specific word in a long time, they'll still use it. Sometimes they'll say new shit too that I'm just like, where did this even come from? Like, I did a channeling the other day and they were talking about how glamour magic is one becoming a hypothesized version of oneself. And I was like, what? So anyway, that channeling about glamour magic, and I actually channeled the Reptilians to talk about glamour magic because of who would be a better species to talk about manipulation in that way. They talk all about what this hypothesized version of self is. And so that is in my free school community in the Cosmic Case Files classroom. You'll also note in this episode, in this one-on-one session, that there are a lot of times where I'm like pausing for downloads to come through. During those moments in time, I do actually fast forward the pauses. So you're not getting a full accurate depiction of how long it may take somebody to channel. So sometimes I will get a download and the image is sent to me and I have to then interpret that image, and then I'm using words with the collective help of the entity to frame up what it means to the client. And so It's usually like a 6-second to a 12-second pause, at least in this episode, that I have deleted so that you don't have to sit there and listen to nothing for 6 to 12 seconds, because that's actually a pretty long time. Nowadays, when I channel, sometimes I will pause for images to download so that I can interpret, but it's much more quick. So this is the progression of channeling, and I thank you so much for being with me on this journey, because what the fuck, guys? I never thought I'd be doing this, but here we are. And I'm very excited and I'm very grateful. You know me, I tend to talk a lot. So let's get into the podcast episode where we talk about the Lyrans, the collective of Lyrans that I channel. And my client was so nice and so selfless. He was actually asking a lot of questions about the Lyrans, like, do you have kids? Do you have structures? Do you build things? Are you pissed that your home planet was blown up by the reptilians? That kind of stuff. This was such an interesting perspective. And in this episode, you'll get to learn a lot more about the extraterrestrials, at least one of the groups that I channel. I hope that you enjoy. So one thing I will say, though, with channeling is because the ETs are using my brain,
Right.
something that's not already in my brain, like maybe you have a question about something, if I've never heard of it, like me, my consciousness, they could have a difficult time channeling through some sort of information. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you know that.
Yeah, I'm not going to get worked up.
Okay. I had somebody who was interested in knowing like about a specific island in Hawaii, and me, I'm like, I don't know anything about specific islands in Hawaii, and so
Right.
without that in my brain, they can't like file through and find the information. So that's how channeling is. But I'm just looking at the form that you had sent in. You prefer red.
Well, that's what everybody calls me,
Red.
Red.
Okay. So do you care if the ETs call you red?
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Probably prefer it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because they'll repeat your name a lot. They just do that. So you're looking for spiritual guidance. How am I fulfilling my purpose that I
Well, I had to put something down.
okay, yeah.
The truth of the matter is, I'm really want to ask one question. A long time ago, I did this thing with a woman who lives in San Diego. So I don't even know how I got onto her. And we had to do it by phone, but she claimed that she could access the Akashic records. So she was just doing her thing and telling me some things that I knew. I mean, ever since I was a kid, everybody said, "You're Eric the Red," who was a big Viking guy.
Oh,
And
okay.
everybody's going, "You're a Viking. You were a Viking." So sure enough, she said, "Oh, one of your last nights, I see you were a Viking." I used to go to meetings all the time back in the 80s, and we all went in New York. It's like in Soho, all kinds of musicians and famous actors would be there. And anyway, there was a woman there who was, she didn't do what you did, but she was very, very perceptive and intuitive. She did cards, but
Mhm.
she was on retainer from some Wall Street companies. They would fly her to the Bahamas for like when the elites, the reptilians
Yeah.
running the show would want to get the card thing ready. So she would do it to a bunch of us guys. And in exchange, we would do things like somebody fixed her stereo. I made a bunch of tapes for her of some music she wanted. So in one of these things, she told me, because I'm a painter, I'm an artist, that's what I do. She told me that in one of my last lives, which had to probably be my last life, I was a painter and I lived in the south of France, and that my paintings are seen by millions of people. So that means they had to be in museums,
Right.
first off. And
Hmm.
secondly, I live here in New York. I go to the Metropolitan Museum, and there's a portrait of Van Gogh that he painted, his self-portrait, and he's got a straw hat on. And when I had my hair like cut in the summer real short, and one of my wives bought me a straw hat, people would like look like 2 or 3 times. I mean, I looked really, really
Oh.
remarkably similar
Mhm.
to him, right? So I was always trying to find out from this woman in San Diego if in my last life I had been that person. It didn't matter. I was just curious. But what she did tell me was she never really answered that question. And I've asked several people who do this if they could tell me that. But there was one she came up with that what because the woman who did the cards that was on retainer, she told a long time ago in the 80s, she told me during one of these sessions that I was a painter in my last life and I lived in the south of France. She also told me that in one of my lives I'd been a monk and that I'd been a scribe, which monks do a lot, and that I had taken a vow of silence. So then this woman in San Diego, I just, I filed it away. She tells me that I was one of the Essenes, who are the people that wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls and Jesus went and lived with. And I'm always fascinated by that period of time,
Yeah.
when they have Christmas and Easter and they show scenes of like the desert and they play out some actors. One guy's Jesus, and I'm always totally fascinated
Yeah.
by that period. So I've always wondered because that came out of the blue, but
Yeah.
that could also kill being a monk because the Essenes were monks, they were scribes because they were the ones who wrote all of those books and so on. So anyway, I've been trying to dig up the information on whether that's actually true.
Yeah.
And the other one is whether I was a painter in my last life and that people are seeing my work.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm getting like chills, confirmation chills is what I call them throughout all of this. So there's definitely going to be information here for you.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't give a shit about my other lives. I mean, they're happening somewhere at the simultaneously right now. Right?
Yeah. So you don't want to know about like galactic past lifetimes.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
See, I
Okay.
never really think about. I mean, sometimes I think I wonder if I was lived on another planet because sometimes I feel like I'm really locked to this planet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Because I like it here because it's like a carnival, particularly living in New York. It's so fucking nutty,
Yep.
That I can just ride my bike down the street and I'm infinitely entertained by
Yeah.
all the nuts on the street.
All right. So as I was pulling cards, I do want to show you that the Lyrans popped up. So they're probably the ones that I'm going to work with right now. But the way that this is going to work is I always start off and I do like a protection circle.
Yeah.
I call them in for the highest good. Whoever steps forward first is going to introduce themselves. And then they're going to ask you to like start off with a question. So we'll kind of do it that way. So I know that you've already discussed some things as background, which is great for my knowledge because I'm already getting intuitive hits on the answers. They do tend to be long-winded, so you can.
Okay, me too.
You can change the topic. You can ask them to go into this and that. Generally, like each session just unfolds, of course, the way that it needs to.
Didn't these Lyrians have one of their planets or something blow up?
Yeah.
In a war with the Reptilians?
Yeah. So when it comes to galactic history, there is stuff that I know. And if you've got questions about that, they'll try to funnel.
Oh, I'll definitely ask.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they'll try to funnel through. They're not going to have exact like star system names and stuff because I don't have that in my brain.
Yeah,
For some reason, it's like not super interesting to me. I don't know why. I guess I'm just meant to do like go on a different path. But anyway.
Well, I'm more interested in the people,
Yeah.
than sometimes what the history is. I just happen to know that, they had a war with the Reptilians.
Yeah.
And their planet got blown up.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. What happened to this thing that we call source? I mean, it's like the fucking Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worse. It's more nutty than being on Earth.
Oh, you mean like source God? Like what happened with?
Yeah, I mean, these are like supposedly his children, theoretically. I don't know. Now I just heard that somebody said that, who the Naga are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These like snake-like things.
Yeah.
That's what they call them in India. Are claiming that they're the ones that they're the real rulers of the universe.
There's so much they're saying because they talked to me clairaudiently before I voice channel them, and they're just saying that there's so many different stories out there. And it's okay. I'm actually going to let them come in now and
Okay.
what they're trying to explain. And we can get into like the source discussion and all of that as well. So, however you want to start, we'll just bring them in. Yeah, I'll be back at least one time to drink water. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So, what I'm doing right now is I am surrounding myself in a bubble of white light with a transparent layer on top. I'd ask for you to do the same. I'm connecting myself up into the cosmos, back down into the center of the earth. My intention is to only connect with benevolent, high vibrational service to others' beings. Low vibe entities are not allowed anywhere near this channel. I am a divine channel of white light source energy. Who wants to come forward and talk to Red right now? 1 second. Oh, yes, Red. These are the Lyrans who are stepping forward. It is with great honor that we connect with one of our soul brothers. Now, we are coming forward here, not just because of the resonance that we have with Christine, but because you are of a very strong Lyran lineage as well. Now, you may call us Lyran, Lyrian. It matters not to us how you pronounce our name, but we are wanting for you to know that this intrigue that you have with the cosmos has much to do with different Lyran lineages that you have experienced and that you continue to experience to this day. So, of course, without further ado, we are wanting for you to start off with whichever way you wanted to take this conversation. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you very much for showing up today. I've never really thought about where I lived when I'm not on this planet. So that's kind of interesting to hear. So let me ask you something. I know like a minuscule about your history, mostly the part that I just spoke with Christine about, that your planet was, you guys were in a war and your planet was exploded during this war. Do you have any resentment against the reptilians?
This is such a great question. I'll allow for us to download some insights to Christine here and some images. So give us 1 second here. Now, of course, from the highest perspective, there is no resentment at the moment with those who have already evolved past the emotion of resentment. So please understand that within the third dimension, humans experience polarity, such as negative and positive, such as resentment being considered a negative emotion. And so those emotions are quite strong on the third level density. And so human beings may look and see at what happened to the Lyrans as, oh my goodness, of course they would be pissed. And of course, we're using Christine's vocabulary here. Of course, they would be pissed at their planet being destroyed. But now for the Lyrans who have evolved past that point of so-called resentment, we can see from the highest perspective that this was all meant to be. Of course, it had a higher plan. Now, Christine's asking us, however, that sounds all good, but there has to be something more that we would be experiencing. So give us a second here because there is more. This is quite a loaded topic. So give us 1 second here. For those Lyrans who did experience that lifetime, and actually we are going to correct something. There have been many different lifetimes where planets have been destroyed. We have had many different homes that have been destroyed, not just by the reptilians, but by other outside forces and races. Now, this stems back hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years in human years, way back when, that this galactic history has not even yet been discovered by much of humanity. And so we're just going to talk on behalf of your understanding, of course, of one Lyran planet that has been destroyed. And so for those Lyrans who experienced that lifetime, who experienced having their home being taken away from them, if they did not evolve past the point of understanding from the highest perspective why that happened, then most of those Lyrans actually did choose to come back as human in this earth lifetime so that they can rid of some of that, we would call it residual karmic emotional distress from that planet being destroyed. And so many people here who have strong ties to the Lyrans, if they feel resentment from the highest perspective, they're not really sure where it comes from, but it has something to do with not feeling at home. And especially if they have any sort of animosity towards the reptilians, it could be because of a past lifetime in Lyra where their planet was destroyed. Now, Christine's making a stop here to ask if you had any clarifying questions or if this is making sense.
No, it makes total sense, and I understand. I mean, I have, in my humble little way, moved past my resentment with other humans for stupid little skirmishes that we got into. Sometimes not even physical, but it could be financial or whatever. And I've had to like over time, I've sorted it out in my head and realized that if I didn't move forward and just get past it, I was the one who was like suffering more than just than in being involved in the incident. But well, I think I might know a few people that are are holding some of your resentment here. They might be some of my
You
neighbors.
You do. Yes, we are validating this. Yes. Now, when we validate something, we give Christine full body chills. So the people that you are thinking of, Red, those are the exact people, yes, that would be holding that resentment. Yes.
Okay, so are you going to say more? Or,
We are just confirming. So, what happens here is that when you have a thought form, we are able to tap into the energy of all of you in your highest and purest form. And so, when you have a thought form about a certain person, for example, we are tapping into that. And so, it happens instantaneous. Now, we are not showing Christine the image of the person that you have in mind, rather, the intention of the person that you're thinking of. And so this is all happening in a telepathic way. And of course, Christine, the channel doesn't have all the information, but because we do, as we are a different higher perspective, we are actually just validating that who you're thinking of is actually correct. Yes, that they do still hold resentment from the Lyran standpoint with regard to different galactic wars. Does this make sense?
yes, of course.
Yes, beautiful. Yes.
Always ask this question. Like, I understand that time is certainly different or doesn't exist at all where you are, but I mean, what to put it in my terms, what is a day in the life of you guys can like look like?
Mm, yes, this is such a beautiful question, and we very much appreciate the questions that you have for us. Because the first thing that we would want for you and for any human to know is it is the first thing that we're wanting. We apologize because it's not often that we're asked questions this way, and we're just expressing our gratitude because usually many people are not even to the point of acknowledging our existence. So to ask us our daily life is beautiful, and we're so thankful. So give us a second to download some images because this is new information for Christine as well. So give us 1 second here. Now we are going to speak on behalf of the Lyran collective that is speaking through Christine right now. We are sixth dimensional, and so from our space, we are able to instantaneously manifest. And so one of the things that Christine was asking us is, are we able do we cook food? Do we have kitchens? Do we have houses? Now, of course, much of what is presented in science fiction is actually quite accurate. And so, from our perspective, this exact collective that Christine is channeling, everything is instantaneous manifestation. If we want something, we just put our hand out and we think it, and the thought form becomes quote unquote physical. But please understand that because we are not within the 3D reality, physicality is not the same way. And so, for us, it is perceived as physical because most of us have had 3D physical reality incarnations, and we know what it would be like to be physical, but it is purely within an energetic state. So we're showing Christine an image of us having our hand out stretched with, for example, a liquid that we would drink as sustenance for food. It is not that we eat apples, that we eat vegetables. We drink many liquids here, this specific Lyran collective. There is much more that we could tell you. As much. So please let us know if there's any specific quality of life or aspect of life that you're interested in. We do not sleep in the same manner as humans. We sleep for about 1 hour because the reason human beings sleep so much is because of the third level density. The density makes your body tired, and that is not the case for us. We sleep for about 1 hour. Christine's saying that she would like for you to ask a more pointed question if you had a very specific question about our daily life, because we can go on and on and on here.
Well, not specifically. I understand that you can, and other, in other dimensions that you can just manifest things, and I didn't picture you like going to the kitchen and whipping up an omelet or something. You
Yes, yes,
know?
yes. Christine is laughing because that's what Christine was picturing. And so we had to kind of derail from Christine's thought into something that would resonate more with you. Yes. And so that's the reason for the question. If you had any other more pointed questions so we could separate Christine's.
Do you have actual structures? Like we have buildings and houses. mean, do you have like centers or
Oh,
someplace
yeah.
where you guys get together or
Yes.
families?
Now, there are many communal structures where we come from. A sense of community is very, very, very strong with the Lyrans, especially given our history of being taken over by different reptilian races and having our home planet destroyed many times. And so, sense of community is extremely important. And so, there's many communal centers where we gather, and the majority of our community actually is facilitated in thought command and in telepathy. So we do not communicate in the same way. We communicate via telepathy, and that is how people know when to gather and for what reason. So we do a lot of teaching within our community, a lot of teaching of galactic history, a lot of teaching of what's happening on Earth right now, so that our galactic, how might we explain this? So that our own community can better figure out ways to assist humanity. Because one of the things that we're actively trying to help, of course, you would understand, is the ascension process on Earth. And so there, we're okay. Interesting. We're showing Christine an image of us teaching our young how to communicate with humans. For example, the collective that is speaking through Christine right now, this needed to be taught to us to know how to communicate through a human. So stuff like that. We apologize. The channel will have to come back for some water in a second here, but stuff like that is what we focus on. Yes.
Right. So how, I mean, what does breeding look like to you? You said, you have children. Obviously, it doesn't look anything like probably what humans. Do you just get together with a few people and think a new person?
Mm. This is a very interesting question. Now, it would depend on the subspecies of Lyran. Now, because we are sixth dimensional, there's actually some aspects of our dimension that would be very similar to the third level density as well. And so we are confirming that Lyrans can actually get pregnant in the same way that humans get pregnant. But if we're talking more 11 or 12th dimensional Lyrans, yes, it would be a thought form. It would be a thought, and then the baby would appear. But the way that we actually conceive and have babies would be the same way as humans do. The care for the baby is much different, as we're still within the communal structure where community is very important. And many have their, how might we explain? Many people help in the raising of the babies. And it's actually much more common for a Lyran to have multiple births rather than single births. This is something that we think that you would find is interesting. And so Christine's asking, would it be the same as we're confirming that it is the same exact way in conception. Yes. Does this make
Right.
sense?
Where would the soul that would inhabit that Lyrian body come from? You would make that too?
No, all souls, we would say that souls would be equivalent to sparks off of source consciousness.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I get that.
Hmm.
That's how
Yeah.
I picture Earth, just sparks moving around.
Yes, it is the exact same. Now, it is a different dimensional space because of course there would have to be a separation between incarnations. There has to be a separation because for many how might we explain this? Give us a second to download some information to Christine. There's a separation because there would have to be for the soul to be able to rest and make decisions before a different incarnation, whether that's a human lifetime or if that's a Lyran lifetime. And so you can think of this as a heaven space, quote unquote, heaven space for rest, where that is where the soul is actually coming from. Now we're using terminology that we understand, both you and Christine would understand, and that's the reason for the vagueness. Yes.
Right. So what, I mean, what is a lifespan of people that are sixth dimensional Lyrians?
Hmm. Average lifespan is, give us one second because we're giving Christine a number, but give us one second. Okay, very interesting. Average lifespan would be about 90 to 150 Earth years.
Oh,
90 to 150. Now, the reason for a soul to move on obviously would not be the same reasons for an Earth, body to move on, or a person who's inhabiting an earth body. It has much to do with the soul recognizing that they are ready to move on, and it would be a cause of natural death, for example. It would not be that the Lyran had died from diabetes or from cancer. It's typically they okay, this is very interesting. We're showing Christine an image. Now, what happens with our kind is there's about a week period where the Lyran, for example, starts to slow down, and the other Lyrans telepathically and intuitively understand that this would be the last week. We're putting this in quotations because it's about a week for some, and sometimes it's longer, but it would be about a week where they have life left in that incarnation. Now, because we're from a higher perspective, we understand what happens after life. We understand that the soul is still around. And so we just enjoy company with that Lyran for as long as we can. And actually what they do with the body, give us 1 second. The body would be very, now of course, 6-dimensional, it doesn't work the same, but it would be more equivalent to a cremation rather than a burying of the body. Yes.
When that person decides that it's time for them to move on, is it because they have evolved to another dimension, or they just want to have a different experience and they know where they're going? Is it like a collective agreement? Oh yeah, you should go over and see what those guys over there that like have the, whatever, the grays or whatever,
Yes, it typically is because of a need for a different experience. Now, they would not, now it's very similar to humans, however, in how humans are not always sure of how far along they are within evolution. And so there are certain things that are kept from us as well, from our own higher selves, because of course you have a higher self, Christina's a higher self, and we have a higher self. And so there's certain things that are kept. It's not necessarily that right before a Lyran from this collective dies that they will know, oh, I'm going to evolve and become a gray now. That information is usually kept, and it's decided when they are in that quote unquote heaven space of when they're resting and deciding. However, what is typical is that the collective telepathically will understand when it's time, and time alone is the only thing that they can sense. It's not typical that they would sense where that soul is going next. Does this make sense?
Yes, of course, of course. So how many people live on your planet under normal good conditions?
We're giving Christine the number of approximately 150,000. It's a smaller planet. It has a lot of radiation to it. Give us a second to see what this is. 1 second. No, radiation is not it's interesting because we're showing Christine an image of our planet glowing. However, the glowing she's mistaking for radiation. It's not. It is an etheric shield around this planet as we continue to rebuild the species that was destroyed in previous galactic civilizations. Yes. No, we're actually going to just bring back Christine for water, and we'll be right back. 1 second.
Sure.
That's a lot of new information. Oh my gosh. Okay. How do you feel? Can you feel, like, I feel high right now. Do you feel their presence, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel great.
That's good. Do you have any questions for my consciousness before I bring them back?
For you personally?
Yeah, just I like to come back and see if you have any questions before I bring them back. If not, I'll just bring them back. That's not a problem.
No, nothing specific. I mean, I would ask him, which is a selfish question, the thing about the Essenes.
Yeah, you should. You should. Yeah. Ask whatever personal questions you want. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me bring them back. I'll be back. Yes, these are the Lyrans. And yes, of course, there's much information that your higher self is wanting to validate for you, Red. And so please take it away with the personal questions that you have. Now, we're wanting for more of we understand that we understand the context of the next question about the Essenes, but we're wanting for you to put it in a question form so that we do not infringe on your free will. So what exactly is the question that you're wondering about the Essenes?
Well, during a session with somebody else who swore they could access the Akashic records, they said that I had been one of the Essenes. And I'm just wondering, because that came out of the middle of nowhere. And I know I've been a Viking. I know I've been a number of other things, but I was just curious about that because it really like, like I said, it was something I'd never even occurred to me. And I'm just wondering if that's actually true.
Yes, yes to both lifetimes. Yes, you have been one of the Essenes and you have been a Viking. Now, let us confirm. So the lady who was accessing the Akashic records, she does have that ability. She has a bit of her own perspective and filter on it. However, it's not a completely clear and open channel, and we will be clear and say that even Christine's channel is not a completely clear and open channel, which is why it's so important, Red, that when you do go to channelers, and of course we know that you know this already, to take what resonates, because information that does hit you strongly will actually hit you strongly within a physical sense. And so you may, now we're giving Christine the chills as confirmation, you may start to access chills as validation for yourself. You may start to access a tingling anywhere in your body as chills. And so we offer this information for you, Red, because we want for you to know that information is often being presented to you in an accurate way. However, it's more important that your own intuition validates that. And so, yes, Essenes, yes, you were, give us a second here. Yes. We're showing you, okay, very interesting. We're showing you walking literally side by side with the rest of the Essenes, with Jesus. Yes. Now, but this is interesting because there seems to be a bit of a discrepancy here with what your actual beliefs may be with Jesus. Did you grow up Catholic? Did you have a period of atheism? What was this religious or non-religious background that we're picking up on?
It was non-religious. My parents believed in Jesus and believed in, God or source. But that was it. We never went to church. We didn't have the money and they just had things to do on the weekend. And, I grew up pretty much mostly eventually gravitating more toward Eastern religion, Buddhism, Hinduism, anything that was actually made more sense to me
Yes.
than what Christianity was selling you, which I know is a bunch of crap anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is that it's actually it comes across sometimes as if I'm having issue with Jesus as a person or what he was doing, when in reality I know that the real person and his message have been hijacked in like the year 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea for priests and stuff to save their own, their own nice cushy lifestyle, and in doing so, they just fed a bunch of lies to people, and it's the lies that I keep trying to tell people that they are believing in something that's actually not true. When it sounds like I'm really, saying something about Jesus or his life or his actual teachings. I understand what he was doing. I mean, I get it clearly. It's not that complicated, you know. Just live a high vibration lifestyle, and you're good to go.
Oh, yes, yes. And it's also important to note here that because, and we understand that you understand this with the time is an illusion type mentality, what also happens that we'd like to plant a seed in your brain, Red, is that there's also extremely different, how might we explain? There's different timelines that an individual consciousness will tap into. And so what happens is when somebody believes something to be quote unquote true, and we say true in quotations because truth is actually subjective. Truth comes from the perspective of the individual based on lived experience. And so even our own truth is subjective because there's a higher power, there's higher dimensional powers above us who would have a different story with truth. So when we talk about truth, it really depends on that that lived experience and the beliefs that have been cultivated from that lived experience. So people who look into some of Jesus's teachings and they believe something that maybe you don't believe, for example, and that we're going to keep it broad here. The truth is that they may be feeling the resonance of energy from a different timeline where Jesus did something differently than what is presented to, for example, you in a different timeline. Now, for example, let's put it this way. In one timeline, let's say Jesus was drinking. Now we're keeping it very, very basic here for the sake of Christine. Let's say in one timeline, Jesus is drinking wine, and in another timeline, Jesus is drinking beer. Now, both timelines happened. However, there's one collective consciousness, there's one collective timeline that the majority of humanity has tapped into, and that would be, for example, drinking of wine. Although we know back in biblical times it was more symbolic of his blood, but we're keeping it simple here. There are some people who, on an individual consciousness level, have actually tapped into a timeline where he was drinking quote unquote beer. So for them, they feel the energy of that, they feel the resonance with that specific timeline, that subjective truth is actually serving them in one capacity in their lifetime so that they can better understand something within their lifetime. For example, let's say that person's father is an alcoholic who drinks a lot of beer. Maybe it helps them to understand that Jesus drank beer from that timeline. And so what we're trying to explain here is that there is not actually one truth. Truth is subjective. And the only reason why there's different timelines that are presented to people is so that they can pull from the energy of that timeline to better create their own lived experience in this human incarnation, for example, to better create it for their highest potential and their highest good. Now, Christine's making us pause here to see how this is making sense. We understand that timelines are a very complex topic. We're just clarifying that you can still hear us and perhaps that you are just thinking in thought.
Oh, for me? Oh,
Yes.
I was just listening to you and thinking about everything you said, and you said it extremely well, and it's very true.
Yes,
That was a joke. I mean, because we're
Oh,
talking about
yes,
truth.
truth is subjective. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, and even anything that we say, if it does not feel of resonance to you, then it is untrue for you. And that is how truth works. It is through the energy of resonance that truth is or truth is not. And so, again, because quantum physics is something that's new and emerging within the human collective, more of this understanding will come about in the future. But we are just simply putting a seed here for you, Red, that when it does come to what other people believe, you will never be able to convince them of what to believe because they're simply resonating with a different timeline in most cases. And so it's just very important for you to carry on with what you believe resonates and find people within your own group that resonates with what you resonate with. And it will make for life to be a much more joyful experience because you are all going to be learning from the different energies of resonance in a different way that does actually serve you for the highest good, whether this person believes it's a lie or this person believes it's true or not. It is actually for a higher purpose. Yes, Christine's asking us to pause here to see if you had a question or to interject.
No, but I do understand, and I do know that there is more than one truth. I think the reason I try to use like social media platform to bring awareness to people that they may not be getting the full story on Jesus's life. It's because it seems, and this is a tremendous generalization on my part, but it seems that people who have a certain belief about Jesus's life and words tend to also have other social beliefs that are not so constructive for the advancement of this planet in terms of ascension.
Sure, it does depend on the perspective. And so as and we apologize if you can hear the dog barking in the background. Christine's saying that they'll stop in a second here as her parents
Oh, it's
just
quite all right. I like dogs.
yes, they're very excited that the parents are home. And so the only thing that we would note here is that yes, this is we will say true based on your perspective. Let us see what else your higher self wants to say about this. 1 second. Okay, we're actually going to bring back Christine for some water as the dogs settle down because it's actually quite distracting to her. So we do apologize. Give us 1 second here.
Sure.
All right. What time is it? My dad just got home. That's why they're being crazy. Okay. Is that making sense what they say? Because sometimes what
Absolutely.
is like,
Everything they said makes perfect sense.
yeah, it can be hard to like zero in because what they're doing is like they're trying, like they have their own perspective, right? And then they're trying to tap into both of our perspectives to give us like a clear understanding of their perspective. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
so I'm gonna bring it back. Oh yes, very good. These are the Lyrans. Now, would you like to continue with this topic of different perspectives and Jesus, consciousness, etc., or did you have anything else that you wanted to cover here?
Yeah, well, I'm just once again because I'm truly more interested in you guys because you know who we are, you
Yes.
know, on a day-to-day basis. So I'm more interested in how you. So let me ask them: do you guys actually move outside of the realm of your planet and have connection with other like neighbors somewhere? Do
Mm.
you know? Do you do trading? Do you share ideas?
There's a couple things that we're bringing up right off the bat for Christine. So we'll kind of flip flop topics here, and we'll say that as far as trading, because of our instant manifestation, there's not much that we would need to trade from this dimensional level. However, there are other Lyran civilizations who do partake in different planetary exchange and trade, etc. But from us, no. There is no. The only thing. Oh, give us. Oh, there is something interesting here. One second. There's the trading of ideas, the
Right.
trading of ideas that happens with our kind and with other kinds, because then without, of course, the idea, without the thought form, we would not be able to create it. And so yes, so we're giving Christine full body chills. So yes, that is what we would do with trading. Now in terms of different travel, yes, of course, we actually do enjoy traveling just as much as any human would enjoy traveling. We do travel to different planets, we do meet with different species. There are many of our kind on different federations that assist in different, let's say, planetary involvements, space involvements. We're putting it in very basic terms because that's what we're using from Christine's brain. And so there is more. Give us a second. Multi-dimensional travel is more. Would be more in sync with what we do. So instead of just traveling to and from different planets within the 6-dimensional space, which we do, of course, more for enjoyment, multi-dimensional travel is what our core mode of travel would be. And for example, we are multi dimensional traveling right now as we are traveling from the 6th dimension into the 3rd dimension and through Christine's vessel. So this again is what we spend a lot of our time teaching our young how to do this, because of course you know that open contact is due to happen within the earth realm, within it's already happening, but more open contact as per the human collective would understand and see it more physically. It would happen within the next couple of years. And so we're preparing our kind to help your kind. Does this make sense?
Yeah, of course it does. So when you travel to other other planets, do you actually just do it telepathically? I mean, can you just sit on your lounge chair and talk to the guy 3 planets away, or do you just like create a wormhole or a
Mm.
portal and just show up?
Yes. Now we're actually showing Christine a variety of different ways in which we do this. So now this is actually quite funny. We're telling Christine that telepathy is actually working a lot like cell service for us, and so now this is what we mean. We do prefer to actually show up face to face with other beings. We do prefer to communicate with them that way because when we are face to face, the telepathic communication is much easier for us. It would work very similar to, yes, cell service and Wi-Fi, like on the Earth realm. That's just because there would be so much. There would be. How might we explain this? We're just going to keep it simple and say that it is easier if we are in closer proximity. So we would not be actually sitting, for example, in your words, on a lounge chair trying to talk telepathically to our neighbors 3 planets down, because there would actually be some communication issues there.
Right, right.
And so the way that we do actually, we're showing Christine an image of us actually. We do literally fly around on different types of saucers to and
Do,
from
do
different.
you do you just manifest them mentally?
No, there's a much higher process of creation with the majority of our now we're going to talk in terms of multi-dimensional spacecraft and sixth dimensional spacecraft. So for sixth dimensional spacecraft, there's actually much enjoyment that we get from building it, quote unquote, building
Really?
ourselves. Yes.
Cool.
And so we do actually build those because even though we can instantly manifest, oh, this
Right.
is so interesting. Okay, we're giving Christine full body chills. Sometimes what happens with instant manifestation is that the intention is not fully clear enough for us to create something that is fully functioning. And so
Right.
if our intention's not there, then we could instantly manifest, yes, a spacecraft, but it wouldn't be fully functioning because we didn't think of all of that we would need within that creation. And so it's easier for us to think, for example, think up different parts, manifest the parts, and to create a spacecraft in that way. And so that would be for the dimensional, the sixth dimensional way in which we travel. Now for multi-dimensional, we are showing, Christine, give us 1 second here, 1 second. Yeah. It would be similar to teleportation, wormholes. It would be similar to that, the way in which we're able to, for example, there is a portal in Christine's room right now that is allowing for us to travel multidimensionally into her.
Right.
Yes. Does that answer the question? Could we?
Yeah, it does. It was very, very good. Thank you.
Of course, yes.
So do you have any kids?
Christine's consciousness is laughing. Yes. This collective, let us see how many are there? 1 second. Within our colony, there are about 500 children.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
Children. Yes. And they are, they are much like children on Earth. They are playing, they are learning, they are growing. Parental structures here again are a little bit different, as there's much more community that is helping in the in the evolution, yes, of our
Right.
of our kind. But yes, our children love to play. They get into fights with each other, just like Earth children.
Really?
Yes, they are. Yes, because give us a second. There's more information about why this is. Emotional maturity is one of the things that develops last within our kind.
Ours
Now,
not too.
yes, it is. And of course, emotions work differently within the sixth dimensional plane. They are not as intense. Would you know that one of the reasons why galactic souls choose to incarnate as humans is because they want to experience the intensity of the emotions within the earth plane? And
No, I understand. That's a big draw here.
oh yes,
I
we
also thought it was a key lime pie.
yes, we especially the different tastes is one of the things that draws us to Earth. A lot of times there's a draw to Earth because of the innate. How might we explain? There is a lot of innate courage to go up against the dark forces that are currently infiltrating the planet right now. That currently, we would say, we're saying that's holding the planet hostage right now, although their grip on the planet is not as strong as it used to be. And so there's many who incarnate, Lyrans who incarnate, yes, who want to help to get rid of that the dark forces, we shall say.
Come on over. We could use the help.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we help in different ways as well. We help to deliver different messages intuitively to people. We help to dismantle a lot of the alien technology that has been placed as an overlay on top of Earth right now that is actually helping to entrap certain frequencies.
Right.
And so we work as frequency inhibitors in a way to inhibit, destroy more lower based frequencies. We do a lot of that as well. Yes.
That's great. Thanks.
Oh yes, you're welcome. Christine's asking, she's wanting to know if you want to know specifically how we may help you.
Oh, well, yeah, listen, I can always take all the help I can get, but things would be okay, but I would never turn anything down. I don't have anything specific. Although I do have these kidney stones in my back, which I would love to get rid of.
Give us a second to tap into that. If
They're causing me a lot of grief.
Yes. Now, much of these kidney stones. Now, of course, when it comes to physical symptoms, there's always an emotional root cause. And so it is it's actually quite interesting that you use the word grief, because a lot of the kidney stones, what it is actually very, 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 very long seated grief and sadness. And so we would understand that these kidney stones can appear in different ways at different times within your life, not even necessarily when you would consider yourself to be sad. But what's actually happening right now, Red, is much of the lower density emotions that humans have within their bodies, that have been within their bodies for decades, are now coming up to the surface to be healed and to be dealt with. And so the actual emotional root cause of these kidney stones has much to do with what it's, again, we're saying it's the synchronicities are all around, of course, has much to do with just deep-seated grief and sadness. Now we're going to pause to see if you had any sort of questions about this.
I mean, I don't know personally if I have any questions. I know I lost my wife, but I had these kidney stones before she passed.
Yes.
But I mean, she was sick with cancer.
Yes. Now we're talking more about the, again, it matters not when, the
Yeah,
time.
you're talking about like
Yes.
collective primal sadness that humans can carry with them.
Yes, yes, and can be passed down from generations as well. This is
Right.
there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that with these. But that's, yes, it has much to do. And now we're actually showing Christine, so she pulls oracle cards before a session, and we're reminding her of a card that she had pulled, and she'll show you after the session. She pulled a card for you, and it was actually the sadness card. And so that was to prepare her to understand that a little bit of that would come up in this session, and so she can show you the card afterwards. But if there's not more that you want to expand on that topic, then no problem, because we can always move on to another subject of whatever you would like, Red.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm good. I mean, I'm sure I must be carrying some residual sadness just being human.
Yes. Oh,
And, as far as my wife goes, I mean, it was something that we knew was going to happen. Doesn't make it any easier. This is what I would like to ask you about. Recently there's been a lot of things here, particularly on social media, about when people pass over. There's like there are groups. I don't know if it's the Greys or somebody who soul traps people and then wipes their memory clean and installs a new memory for them. What's that all about?
yes, this is actually this particularly comes from more of a fear-based agenda that is actually stemming from the reptilians. Now, please allow for us to please allow for us to explain. Now, of course, the reptilians had always known that at some point there would be the humans would start evolving much to a point of understanding spirituality more, of understanding that incarnation and reincarnation is real. And so they started to put a lot of fear-based stuff, we would call it, within the collective mind that people could be fearful of. Because once people start to understand that, oh, when we die, that's not just it. We move on to a different realm where we can choose to come back again. Once people start within that phase of their awakening, understanding that there's more to life after death, then they needed to have some sort of way to infiltrate that thought, so that, of course, they wouldn't be able to move on so swiftly into another lifetime, because they want to be able to feed off of this human energy. And so
Right.
this has to do, yes, it's actually not so much a gray thing. So the now this is where it comes from. The reptilians started infiltrating this with gray language, that the grays do this because humanity on a collective level understands more that grays exist rather than reptilians. It would be without a doubt that for many people in their mind, when they think of an alien, they think of a gray alien,
Exactly.
a reptilian. And so this is why it's that gray alien rhetoric. Now, of course, if a person truly believes this without a doubt, then this is something that they could experience after they die. Because again, thoughts and beliefs create your reality. And so this is why it's been infiltrated. This is why it's been put within the collective mind that this is something that could happen, because it could happen if you truly believe it. This is how hell works. This is
Right.
it is also a construct of the mind. But if somebody actually believes that they're going to hell, they will go to a version of hell that they created within their mind. But eventually, when that does not serve their soul anymore, when that creation does not serve their soul anymore, then the guides will help them to come out of that hell. We would say that would be the same thing that happens with people who get trapped, quote unquote, by the grays. Eventually, they would find their way out with the help of their guides. But we want you to know that this is not something to actually truly worry about.
Well, I wasn't. I was actually concerned for my wife.
Oh
You
yes,
know,
your wife is fine. Your
that
wife.
that that was that was why I asked, because I just didn't want to see her, because she's a sweet person. I didn't want to find out she had gotten hijacked.
No.
And I didn't blame, and I didn't want to blame the reptilians, because I blame them for everything.
Hmm. Yes, no, she is fine. Did she have now okay, we're giving Christine a couple things. Now you had said she died of cancer. Was it anything within the lungs, within the heart? What was the cancer?
Well, it was a cancer that normally attacks the lungs, which is ironic because she had asthma, but
Mhm.
it wasn't. It attacked her body down where her female plumbing is.
Very interesting. Okay, yes, we appreciate. Now Christine's laughing at her consciousness is laughing at your take on words there, and we appreciate that your humor. And so yes, this is the first thing that she's been showing us, because now please understand, we can tap into as a mediator, as a third party here, we can tap into the energies of other souls that are around you. And so she has crossed over. She is quite fine. She's showing Christine glasses. Did she have glasses? Do you still hold on to a pair of her glasses? Or this could be symbolic of her being able to see more clearly now on the other side. So we're going
Well,
to,
it could be all of those, because she had like 800 pair of glasses.
yes.
One for the computer, one for the TV, one for reading, one for going outside. I mean, she was glass obsessed.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, she's laughing. She's saying she still has them on the other side. It completes her look. That's what Christine's hearing. Yes. But did you have any questions? Because we understand that sometimes connecting with past loved ones can be a bit of a different experience, and so your higher self is stepping in here to see what you may want from this experience. Do you want to learn?
No, nothing. Just tell her I love her. That's
Mm.
all.
Oh, she
And I
knows.
think about her. I talk to her every night.
Hmm.
I hope she hears some of that.
Always. Always. She says always. Yes. And she is totally fine. On the other side, we're showing her with white light and angels all around her. So you have nothing to worry about. She
Thank
wouldn't
you.
she's saying she wouldn't have believed in that alien crap anyway. Was she
I
not?
know she never did.
Yes,
She
yeah.
never did.
Yeah. So there's no reason to worry about the soul entrapment. She is quite all right. Yes.
Well, for now, I think, unless you guys got something else.
Yeah, we're at the one last thing that we're showing Archangel Michael. Now, he did she have an affinity for him in particular, or for archangels?
I don't know. She never really mentioned it.
Mm,
You know, she
it's
did. She kept it to herself.
yes. It seems as though he was the one who safely guided her to the other side.
Oh,
Um,
good.
so he's there. He's with you as well. And he's actually saying, anytime that you want to call on him for any sort of guidance, or he's saying for help with the kidney stones, he can help with that as well.
Uh, he's going to get a call later.
Oh yes, he's saying that is quite all right. He's always he's here for humanity's what is the phrase? Christine is not good at idioms, but he's here for humanity's beck and call. Yes, Christine's laughing because she's not even sure if that's an idiom, but it's a phrase that she's not sure of. So yes, he's here for you at any point. Yes. Okay. Did you want to see if there's a lasting message here, or are you? Oh no, there's one more thing. Christine's reminding us about the Van Gogh, the artwork. Did you want to go into that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to get into anything that was too personal, only because that's too selfish when I have more interest in you guys. Anyway, at one time, I was told that during my probably my last life. I lived in the south of France, and then I was a painter because I'm a painter now, and that my work is being seen by, well, they said millions, which means it would have to be in museums. So I'm just wondering, is any of that true?
Yes, it is true. It is true. And we are giving, hold on, there is a name of a museum that we're giving Christine, but she's not very good with French. So give us 1 second. Okay, this is the way that we will put it because the word is not coming through to Christine. It would be one of the most famous museums in Christine's laughing because she says museum, funny, museum. It would be one of the most famous in France. Now, give us a second. Paris?
Well, that would be the Louvre.
Yes,
Or
this is it. Yes, thank you very much. That's what it is. Yes. Yes, you have artwork there.
oh wow,
It is a past life self. Now, this is what, oh, very interesting. We're giving Christine the chills. When Christine gets the chills, it's confirmation. Would you ever have any sort of interest in traveling to France to go see this artwork?
oh I've been there. Yes, I mean I spend a lot of time in France. I
Yes.
like France.
Yes. The next
The
time that you
language is a killer.
Yes. Oh, yes, we understand. The next time that you do go, if you set the intention and ask to work with your guides, specifically, actually, Archangel Michael stepping forward because he has an affinity for artwork himself. He's
Oh,
saying that
cool.
he would help you to discern which piece is yours, but it starts with the intention setting and the helping because
Right.
with your psychic development, of course, every human is psychic and your psychic development is still developing. And so when you do call on guides, they'll be able to help you. But it is in the Louvre. Christine can't pronounce the word. Louvre. Yes, that is the museum that you had said. It's there. Now, you have had many lifetimes as an artist. Give us a second here. Of your human incarnations, we would say that more than half of them have been one in which you brought forward some sort of artistic ability. This is just something that your soul loves. Your soul loves artistic expansion and creation. And so this is the way that from a soul level you create. Now, there are some people who like to create, for example, human life. They like to have large families. That is their soul's expression of creation. There are people who like to, because we're trying to give examples of not even artistic things, but creation in general. There are people who like to, we'll just say simply manifest and manifest whatever their heart's desire. That's their way of creation. Now, your soul's the overlay we would say of your soul is that your soul just very much enjoys creation. And so you typically have different incarnations where there is much free will to do this because there are different incarnations and different planets and different dimensions where there is no such thing as free will. And there are very many rules and regulations to absolutely follow. But yes, we are confirming that this is why you do prefer human incarnations. This is why you do prefer Earth because of the free, not just the creation aspect of it, but because of the free will. Yes.
I think you're right. Yes, I do like it here for that. And I also like it because there's so many characters.
Mm, yes.
Quite entertaining.
Yes, you like now from our perspective, what we pick up on is this is what you enjoy because your soul, your soul enjoys the expression of creation. What you are enjoying when you see the different characters is that person's own expression of
Exactly right.
creation. Yes.
Precisely.
Yes, that's from the soul's perspective, and it's a beautiful thing because you are in a high vibrational state. Now, many people, when they let's say see other characters, they are in a state of judgment, but you are typically within a state of It's not so much. It's sometimes it's an awe if it is a very strange character, but it's typically curiosity. And you also carry a lot of admiration with you as well. You can actually appreciate people from the soul level when they do authentically express themselves, even though sometimes they may be weird in their expression. You actually do it from a high vibe state. Yes. Does this make sense?
It does make sense.
Yes, very good. And we want you to know also, Red, that you are far too kind. You are far too sweet. And when we're saying this, we mean that You have every right to learn as much about yourself as if you want. Although we appreciate the questions that you gave us, we want for you to know that it is no problem for you to do some self-discovery digging. And should you ever want to call on us to get more information about yourself, please understand we welcome it, because the more that you understand about yourself, the more we will say the more swift the evolution of humanity will move forward. If this makes sense. Yes, we're not sure.
It does make sense. Of
Yes.
course, yes, yes, I agree. And it's been really lovely talking with you people. It's
Oh,
been
yes.
really terrific, really terrific.
Oh, we have so much admiration for you and for the human collective during this time, and we very much appreciate you calling on us and trusting in Christine's channel to have this session, because we are always we're using Christine's words here. We are always down to celebrate and to communicate with humanity. Yes, and
Well,
so,
since I was a Lyran once, maybe I'll come back and visit you guys.
you can at any time. We are just a thought away. Yes.
There you go.
Yes, beautiful. Now, without further ado, we're going to bring back the channel. Yes, one second. Hi.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. How are you?
I'm good. It's funny because like after I come out, when they're in, like my voice feels fine, but when they leave, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I I've been talking for a long time. Like my voice actually, my throat, I should say, feels like tired, you know?"
I bet it does. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of talking, and it's a higher vibration.
Yeah, there was a lot. Now, anything come up for you? Anything that was anything that you didn't expect? Anything that didn't resonate, or like how was.
Well, they did confirm the Essene thing, the Essene connection, and the Viking connection, and the woman that I told you about who did the reading said there was like on retainer by the Wall Street
Yeah.
companies. She had mentioned in one of her things because she actually did all this stuff before, during on her spare time, and then when we went there to do whatever we were going to do in her apartment, she would tell us about it and tape it as we were like fixing her stereo or whatever, and
Yeah.
say, "Oh yeah, and you were like, you were in Rome like 5 times in the ancient
Oh,
Rome,
wow.
all these kind of things." So she told me that that I'd almost always been an artist of some kind.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they confirmed that here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so okay. They're giving me the chills. Yeah, okay. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to listen back to this and learn
Yeah,
more.
you'll listen to it for sure.
Yeah. Um, because there was so much like again, I don't remember everything, but like I just remember them saying a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so again, the recording's gonna be here in Pennsite.
Okay.
Have issues, let me know. Is there anything else that I can.
No, no, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. It was really terrific.
I'm so happy that we finally got to meet. And I'm
Me
sorry that I
too.
don't always respond on Instagram. I feel like I try to respond as much as I can, you know? And I
No,
love.
you're very good about it. You're very good about it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. I know that we'll connect more on Instagram. So if you have any questions or any.
Yeah, we'll do this again,
Yeah,
maybe in another few months.
sure. Anything that
Yeah, when I
you want.
when I get a burning desire
Yeah.
for some information or just to talk again,
Yeah.
I will definitely get. I know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, that's awesome. You know where to find me. Beautiful. Well, I hope that you have a really great oh my gosh, it's Monday. I hope you have a great rest of your week,
Yeah, you too.
and we'll connect on Instagram.
Go walk those dogs.
I know. No, my dad's doing it right now. I guess they're okay. I'm sorry that they interrupted though. So that's
Oh,
always.
listen, I love dogs. I've had dogs. I have no problem with animals. Didn't bother me in the slightest.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to tap in for you, and we'll connect again.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you doing it.
Of
I
course.
really do. I got a lot of stuff confirmed. The few things I wanted to know about, I learned today. That's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, then we'll talk again, and yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your week.
You too, sweetheart. Take care of yourself.
Bye. You
Take
too.
care of those kids.
I will. That's where I'm going to go.